This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce the wonderfulness of the Wenches.
Hello.
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 Well, what we got on the first thing on the top of the show, what I just want to see y'all's reactions to the Raiders making the playoffs for the first time since 2016.
What? We made the playoffs?
Yeah, we did. And I just found out like Sunday night.
I was today.
I can't respond because my heart's not recovered from it yet, so I'm still kind of not really sure what to think.
Captain?
Well, of course, I would always let the ladies answer first.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
So I'm just so happy that, and I'm not trying to do the I one-upped everybody, because trust me, I was there, and I wish all of y'all, the ladies that are here on screen with me right now, as well as everybody that's watching it that didn't get a chance to experience the game, was with me in that stadium at the, at the end of it, when, and all of the people, I can actually say, yeah, I did lose some nails watching that game, but the excitement that was in that stadium, because again, you have the opener on Monday Night Football going to a dramatic overtime finish with Zay Jones getting that touchdown on kind of like, the flip at the very end. And at the very end with Carlson kicking, DC to money, getting us into the playoffs, and the sheer joy that I saw as the team left the field is something that I wish everybody could experience for sure.
Oh, we saw the pictures, Captain. Captain made the network television feed at least twice, and then somebody had your picture on their show, right?
Well, I didn't see myself on network. If I made network, I didn't know about
You
it because I had
sure did.
Oh,
We
you
saw
did.
you.
We saw it.
Mhm.
We saw
Wow.
you, I think, twice. As a matter of
I'll
fact, the camera came on you twice. You were sitting next to one of your buddies, and it was,
I believe that was Mr. Violator that you were next
I
to.
think that was Violator.
I think it
Mhm.
was.
Okay, well then that must have been File because
Yeah.
I wasn't
We'll
with
send you the
Violator
screenshot, Cap.
And
Oh,
it,
okay.
yeah, it was,
Got it.
I sent it to you already, but it was electric. And I knew that Vegas would come through with a big game on the line. They are just learning how to be Raider fans. We got to be patient with them. But you guys don't know, sitting at home, watching y'all on TV, it was electric. That's all I have to say is it felt like we were back at Oakland Alameda Coliseum all over again.
Wow.
And
What a
that's
way
the way
to
I felt.
have what a way to have your second season with your brand new team. If I lived in Vegas still, I would be so excited to see this. Look at the Golden Knights. What was it?
That's
The
what I was
first
going to
year
say
that was in the
tonight.
Yes. Let's do this. Let's make it a Vegas thing. We can do it.
Early and often. And I'm so happy. I mean, Heidi, what was your, just after that game was over, what was your feeling?
Oh my gosh, I was just elated. It just I didn't even know what to think. I didn't think that the Raiders were gonna be able to pull it out after losing to the Bengals and then losing to the Chiefs. I just really didn't see them making the playoffs. I did not see them running the table, and they did. It's a special team. Like I said, I wouldn't call it a team of destiny, but there is something special about it. It's not they don't roll over and just give up. This year they're fighting. They're not giving in, and it's it's frustrating to see them when they do make mistakes. It is frustrating to see the red zone inefficiency, but I was just so overwhelmed. We saw the game with our booster club up here, and
Cool.
it was crazy. The restaurant went absolutely nuts.
Nuts.
Not just in our room, but throughout the entire restaurant. People were just yelling and cheering, and I could only imagine what it was to be actually there, what that would be like.
I mean, what we have to look at is this is the first Raider team we've seen in so long. First of all, it's playing like a team. Second of all, that not no quit spirit. I mean, when was the last time we haven't seen them roll over and play like roadkill by this time in the season? This is something I gotta give credit to Bisaccia. I mean, I'm looking at something that no head coach has done since Gruden left in 2002.
Who?
Oh, and that
We're,
is,
we're gonna
it
call
is
him Hooten.
absolutely. I don't think we can put any name on that. He didn't get it done. Del Rio didn't get it done. I mean, Art Shell, North Turner, none of them. Dennis Allen, Hugh Jackson. Versace got something out of this team. I don't know what it is, but I know I like what I see. I like it. I like it. It's that absolute gutsiness that says, and like his decision. Oh, I know everybody's cracking up. Why did the Charger head coach call timeout when we were just going to let the clock run out and end the tie?
Maybe he forgot. He forgot that high paid unemployment's over now because he apparently wants to lose his job. That's the only thing I'd think of. He can't sit at home and make that money anymore, though.
Peggy, I'm glad you brought that up because you brought up two things that hopefully we will get a chance to discuss. And the first one was the tie thing, because if you read what between the lines and the afterthoughts, because they were talking to Coach Rich and they were talking to Carr, about how that timeout did it change the
Yeah.
Raiders' thinking. And Carr said, yes, it did. But, and that's what everybody starts to forget is the afterthought. But we were going to kick, we were going to for the win, okay? And whether they had had the timeout or not, Bisaccia was going to kick what would have then been like a 57-yarder,
Right.
okay? And that's why people say, well, the Raiders kind of, punked out, or that the Garglers saved their bacon on that. No. We were going for the win. So for all the Charger fans out there that were saying, oh, well, we missed out and yada, 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 and all the Steeler fans that are actually talking to Daniel
Heidi,
Carlson.
mute your dog.
I'm trying.
Well, I mean, no. The Sparkler fans were upset early in the game with the so-called phantom PI. But I get where you come from. My point that I was making is,
I'm sorry,
Bisaccia plays to win.
Yes.
I'm talking about who this new coach is. We're finding out who he is. I mean, keep going, Captain Jack. You're telling us about what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, and see, and that actually is a great segue into the second point of what I wanted to ask you about. Is, have you seen enough of Coach Bisaccia to warrant the next year? Because that's the $1 million or maybe $2,300 or however, because he's not going to get big coach money. But has he warranted? I know what my answer is, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna zip it until I hear what y'all say, because I would like to do that. And by the way, I have to say, and this is mostly for Angria Trask. You are watching on Roku
I've
TV,
seen
so
it.
please watch your language.
Come on, Angry. Answer his question about Coach Bisaccia.
Well, we had a talk a few weeks ago about who would be a good candidate for next year, and I think Peggy made a really good point that there may be a reason that he hasn't been able to land a head coaching position. However, we're looking at the bad news Bears right now. This is a team that has nothing to lose, and they're putting everything on the line. And I don't know that we retain him as a head coach, but if he doesn't come back as a special teams coach, at the very least, it's going to be really disappointing. I think given an off season, he might have something going. He might be able to put something good together with this roster. It's there. The talent's there.
Heidi, what you think? I mean, what are you seeing?
My opinion remains largely unchanged. I don't see him as head coaching material yet. I don't think that he can make the changes that are necessary in game to be able to alleviate some of the opposing team's moves. Now, if he had a different offensive coordinator, that would definitely solve a lot of that.
That's the fear that I have about Bisaccia staying, that he'll retain both coordinators. And remember, guys, I mean, if you remember me, I ain't happy with Gus Bradley either. I mean, right. It's for a number of reasons. But I just don't think it's in his skill set to build a top 10 defense, a championship defense. But that's what my fear is. I don't mind keeping Bisaccia, but them other two, they got to go.
But one thing that we talked about on the Only Nation podcast, this episode's going to be released in the morning, was that I think Bisaccia has truly earned consideration for head coaching candidacy. He has earned an interview. He's earned serious consideration. I'm not convinced at the point of him actually getting the job, but I think that what he's done, what he's led the team through all the adversity, through everything horrible that collapsed this year, he's earned that shot to at least interview and present his case.
And I see everybody. This is the third question has popped up about Mr. Mayock. Since we're
I can't
talking
point at
about
Peggy.
personnel,
There
I
you go.
mean, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I don't think it's fair to get rid of a guy who you have really never seen perform without Gruden
That's
in
it
his
right there.
ear on his
100%.
shoulder. You don't know what kind of GM Mayock is. You're just saying
Well,
get rid of Mayock because I guess because he was Gruden's guy. But let's
let me
face it,
let
who
me
you got
argue
out
with you
there?
for a second, Peggy. Let me argue with you for a
Mhm.
second. We do know what kind of GM he is because from round 3 down, he picked talent. He picked
Yeah.
guys like Hunter Renfrow and Mad Max Crosby, who those were the ones that he threw. That Gruden threw to him. Okay, let me pick our top guys because I know
Okay.
that those guys are going to be performers. And if people cannot remember that, and I know you're not one of those people, Peggy, you know exactly what he did for us on those rounds. But if you're not one
Absolutely.
of those people that can see that and understand the distinction and the dynamic between Gruden and Mayock and the reason he was there, then this may be not your moment. Let's not don't say something stupid and take away all doubt. What's that comment? Anyways, there's a reason that he was hired. He actually performed that well, and he has people in place that can do that job with him. Contract makers. He did a really good job in off season with Gus Bradley. I think those two work together for talent, for scouting, and for recruitment because we improved our defense a lot, a lot.
And when
And
you were at the
it's
very
hard not to.
bottom,
It's hard not to, but how many years did we not do that once? Not one
you're
time.
right.
And this
You're right,
man, you are
Angria.
absolutely right. He deserves another year to at least show that he does deserve this spot. I think that man has an eye for talent, not only in a draft, but in a free agency that is unmatched. And give him the
Absolutely.
reins. Let him be a GM. Let him do what a GM is supposed to do and get a head coach who's supposed to do what a head coach is supposed to do.
Now, all these people, just one thing before anybody else jumps in, all these people talking about let's bring Lewis Riddick in, let's bring this, that. First of all, you've had 2 straight GMs that have had 0 experience as a GM. Now, why, in the name of insanity, are you going to bring in a third guy with 0 experience? Mark needs to reorganize that front office before you can talk about a GM change. There's so many things that have to happen inside this organization up top before we even get to the GM and head coach position.
I think part of the Lewis Riddick talk has to be discussion about front office as in president, CEO, something in football operations, but a GM, no. He does have business experience and obviously football knowledge out the wazoo. And I think he would be a good addition. I would love to have him. He loves the Raiders, but that's not enough for him to be a GM. There's a lot of intricacies to that position. And I don't know if he would do well in a different front office job, but if he was interested in trying something like that and he had the pedigree and he could do the job, then shoot, bring him in.
Sure.
See,
Bring
I
him in
watched
if
my
he.
language. I
I'm
got
just,
it.
insanity. The definition of insanity is
But
doing the same thing over and over again. We've already had 2 straight GMs with 0 experience. If you're gonna change Mayock out, don't bring me another newbie. My arm is full of needle pricks because you're using me as a
add
guinea
him,
pig.
yeah, add him to what we have, not instead of what we have.
Right.
All right,
Okay,
ladies. All
well,
right.
wait a second. Wait a second.
Let's talk about other coaching options. Oh, are you?
What
Sorry, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, I didn't hear from Peggy yet because Peggy was. I heard from the Alaskan wenches, but I didn't hear from Peggy
Okay.
about Bisaccia staying or going. And then we launched into the GM thing, which we can segue back into that. I think Peggy was saying, "Oh, maybe he won't call on me in class," but.
Oh no, I said it in one sentence. The fear I have in keeping Bisaccia is that those two coordinators going to stay. I want both of them gone.
Oh,
But
well, okay.
some people, I think we can do better. First, by somebody give me Vic Fangio's number, please. Please, I can call Vic Fangio up.
He is a
I know he need
fantastic
a job.
DC.
Oh my God.
Look at the Vikings. Look what he did with the Vikings. He can't head
Oh
coach,
my
but that
Lord.
DC, man, he was good.
People just forget where this guy has been, what he has. He's been the architect of some marvelous defenses, and he did it with the players he had. He did it by making the guys he had better. He didn't need a whole bunch of superstars like Gus needs to give you a top 15 defense. I mean, right now we're ranked 22, not surprisingly. Given the performance Sunday in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Now, I'm just saying.
How many fourth downs did we give up? How many? 6? Was it 6 that we allowed them to convert?
6 out of 7.
Yeah, 6.
I mean,
Sorry.
it is.
Go ahead.
It's
Just want to drop that, Peggy.
I mean, it's stinging, burning in my heart as much as I've been harping on defense. And Captain, what was the feeling inside the stadium when all those fourth downs got given up? What were y'all thinking? What were you thinking? Be honest.
I kept saying, I kept turning around to the crowd. It's like, one more. Okay, one more time. And I had a couple chirpies behind me that were Charger fans.
Oh,
and about ready. And the thing is that, and a couple of the people started to sing na 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 na, and I'm like, they ain't going bye yet.
I hate it.
And then they scored the one touchdown, and I'm like, and I wanted to do the old Jewish guy, aha, I told you. And again, you don't do that until you got triple zeros on the board. And when we had triple zeros on the board, it was a tie game.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 points given up in the most crucial quarter, in the most crucial game that the franchise has played in over 5 years. And that defense couldn't stop Grandma. I mean, Grandma is one of my favorite people. And if she can score on your defense. You don't have a really good defense. 15, they even got a 2-point conversion.
My dead grandmother could have scored on the defense.
Thank you. I mean, what is all this talk about the defense is okay? We can keep Bradley. I mean, we've come a long way from Gunther. But
stop swearing. Stop swearing.
I know it. I'm going to call these people's names because we're in the playoffs. So we can talk about people who ain't in there with us. Okay. And one of those people that keep saying, Bradley this, he's improved so much. And let me offer a special, I can't curse on this program, but a special to people who continue to blame the offense because the defense had to get back on the field. I mean, the logic
should be able to get themselves off the field too. That's the problem, people.
Captain,
that's the problem.
How many times did y'all sit up there with beads of sweat on your like? Did the place get quiet? I mean, what happened in that fourth quarter?
Hey, I'm gonna use a big word here. Okay, and I know all you ladies know it. The cacophony. See, the cacophony kept rising and then going, and it would rise up again. So the cacophony, and then it's like I said, roller coaster ride. Okay, and we were playing the Chargers, and people were trying to figure out what they needed to call the game. One of the ones that I saw, which was a good name for the game, was the Holy Roller Coaster.
I mean, Heidi, I mean, what was your feeling when you saw those fourth downs being converted? I mean, that has to be a record somewhere, doesn't it? You looked it up for us, didn't you?
I did not look it up. I do know from what I recall that Justin Hebert was 6 of 6 on passing on those 4th downs. I believe it was 104 yards,
And
plus 1 or 2
Mhm.
touchdowns. I mean,
Oh.
it was insane.
And
But the thing is, while I was watching the game and watching the collapse and seeing the Chargers get back into the game, I still had the feeling that we were going to win. I was still waiting to win. I don't know why, but it was just something that I couldn't shake. It was just like, okay, well, we got to get this out of the way. We've got to finish this. But at the end of the game, we're going to be standing up tall.
Okay.
you know why, Heidi? 29 career comeback wins, Derek Carr. When the
Got it.
game is on the line, he's
I-
Mr. Money. And I don't want to hear any Derek. He's always making a mistake, Carr. I want the reason you had that feeling is because of Derek Carr.
Okay, may I, because this is a great segue, and I got to bust in, and I would never try to interject it with 3 ladies, like, I didn't tell you, but, and they were on me because I was late today, guys. I'm going to put that out there as well.
Yeah, we were clocking it, man.
I called him AWOL.
Where the hell is Captain Jack? He's AWOL again. And gentlemen, and I said, this is a ladies' show, but gentlemen, when you have your one wife that nags you when you're late, try having 3 that were nagging. I didn't hear from Angria, but I know it was there anyway. Anyway, this is the segue, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go turn my TV isn't working on it. I'm going to find out why. I'm going to go off camera, but this is the segue. We talked about. Like a little bit of the we talked about what's his nose coming in, the guy from ESPN. Oh my God,
Louis Riddick.
Louis Riddick. Thank you. Remember, there is a front office position open, and that's maybe team president for football operations.
All right.
Okay, and then we talked about, and people were talking about John Dorsey, who is a viable GM candidate, okay, and maybe it depends upon if Mayock wants to work with him or would they work together or not, because the Raiders are, per reports, looking at Dorsey as GM. But here's the big time swirl, okay, and I put it because Issues put in there. A couple other people were talking about it. Peggy, you definitely want the OC gone. You definitely want the DC gone. You're talking about Vic Fangio. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and
my
Angria
firstborn child. He can have my firstborn child. He can come in.
I got you. But the thing is that and here's the other thing as well. And I love Vic Fangio as well, because Vic Fangio is a better DC than Bradley. But the thing that also goes with Vic Fangio is that there's a gentleman that may be available in the name of Jim Harbaugh. And who was Jim Harbaugh's coordinator all those years in San Francisco? Oh,
Vic
a gentleman
Fangio.
by the name of Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio. Correct.
Okay. So
correct.
Give me. I'm gonna cut my camera and my thing. I'm gonna turn my TV on before I miss the broadcast. So I got to see if I made TV. I will be right back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not here. So you ladies and all of the folks, if you want to be on the show, because I was seeing, can I come in? Can I come in? Hit up in the comments if you want to come in. If the ladies, the wenches, want you in here, they will have you in here. But I will be right back. I'm not going anywhere. Just stand by 1 second.
And I wanted to answer a few questions about people who, in Bradley we trust, even though he's just been here a year. The thing that you're looking for, we want to turn this franchise all the way around. This is the opportunity right now. You need to pick guys that can take you all the way to the Super Bowl. We have a unique opportunity this year to really pick some coordinators that can absolutely get the job done. I don't know about head coach, but I know we have a chance we can do better than Bradley. And that is something that people who know football understand. We need a guy that can build a top 10 defense. And Heidi, I don't know. I've been talking this like forever, it seems. I need your smooth, calm voice to add to that, or to take or to object.
Okay, Peggy, I'm here for you. What do you want to hear?
I want to hear your feeling about those coordinator positions.
I think that as far as a defensive coordinator goes, we are so happy with Bradley in general as a fan base because we had such a terrible coordinator before him. So that's why he seems so really good. But when you look at the stats and you look at, these collapses and how many times teams have gotten back into the game late in the game because Bradley's prevent defense philosophy or whatever it is he's doing. And that's when you realize, you know what, he's not all that special. It's just the guy we had before really sucked.
He was really bad.
Yeah. And so
and Heidi, don't forget about the no blitzing too, Heidi. Please don't forget about that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Well, Gunther had like
What
a phone
is
book
that
full
about?
of blitzes. He just never called them. And thankfully with Bradley, he hasn't had to call as many blitzes because for the most part, the defensive line has been getting some pressure on the quarterback. But there have been plenty of games where they've gone AWOL, is just, just like Jack did. And
Hey,
And,
Damn, Heidi, you're on something tonight.
You know what? I wanted to make sure
You
that
know?
the friggin' recording was kept until I deleted, and the reason why I couldn't get to my TV was the glove that I had given to me from the indie game. I put up on my display, and it was blocking the
All
view
right.
sensor. So I have a
No, don't
reason.
Don't shake that recording at me.
Yeah,
Shake your remote
yeah,
control.
that's right.
You put that thing down.
Aha, I got something for you to show. There you go.
But yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it. Bradley,
One of my
just looks
favorite
so good
movies
to
ever,
us.
by the way.
And then you have mentioned the big O, Mr. Olsen.
Oh,
Lord
man.
have
No,
mercy.
oh God. Oil can Olsen, man, and I tell
Can
you,
anybody say they want to keep Olsen? Does anybody want
No.
to keep Olsen?
Just
No.
If
just
not,
step
there's no
on up.
discussion.
I'm looking
Nothing.
at the comment.
No,
Richie or Shay might. Richie might want us to keep
Richie can
Olsen.
have Olsen.
Yeah,
You might want us to keep him. I don't
No,
care.
he wants us to keep him.
I do.
Oh my
That's right.
God.
I do, however, want to. I want to throw out another name for a head coach, and I want to know what you guys think of Brian Flores.
Mhm.
I would actually
Peggy?
be okay with that.
Go
ahead,
and I'm going to go with Heidi. The thing is, when you change the continuity, because see, I'm so excited about the change in the mentality of the team. Let's talk about something else Bisaccia has brought to the table. Look, Ma, no penalties anymore. I'm not getting 10 penalties a game. We had 5 against the what's the game before the Colts? We had 3 against the Colts, 4 on Sunday. When's the last time a Raider head coach got the penalties to 3?
Yeah, he's
Think
doing
about it.
something on that something on that
I don't
offensive
want
line
to
is working.
breaking that
something-
continuity up. Yeah. When you just turn a corner, you haven't been able to turn in 20 years. Okay.
Yep.
You kind of don't, maybe that's been the Raiders' problem, is that we keep yanking things out, putting new things in, yanking this out, changing that, and we never get a straight line. It's always zigzagging because we're always changing something, and that sets back progress in other areas. This is why I can't tell you what I think about the change, but I do know that Olsen must go. I mean, there is, without a doubt, Olsen must go. And poor little Olsen, he hadn't learned a darn thing since Gus Bradley fired him in Jacksonville. Absolutely no creativity whatsoever. Do you see those little gadget plays he tried to put in? Captain, did you see? Did you see that little double reverse? And the first time
Not sure what
Mariota
was going
kept
on.
the ball, And then the second time they faked it to Renfro and then Mario kept it. They ran the same exact play on the same drive, and they faked it. This time they faked it to Mariota, and Renfro got the ball. And of course, the Chargers were all over that. I'm like, I guess that's Olsen trying.
Yeah. Well, I will say this though,
Gold star for trying.
with Mariota.
Yes.
When Mariota was in there, they actually they faked out the Chargers a couple because he had a nice big long gain. Plus, he almost got the touchdown at that thing. So I like it when Mario's in it because that he can give it to the the up back to go in, or he can. And actually, he's better when he keeps it and goes off tackle like he's done a couple different times. In fact, his first carry was like a 25-yard gain. Then he got ruptured his hammy again. And, it was like one and done for about 5 weeks. But I like him in there. But again, we got to get rid of Oil Can Olsen as what I call him. Like I said,
but see,
Kevlar was saying that when we
he
were
looks
playing
like he's
the better
got an
plays.
oil slick on his head.
Exactly.
Did you see Bisaccia yelling at him? Did you see the shot?
No.
Yes.
Remember, I'm in the stadium.
Yelling at him.
I'm in the stadium. My view is corner end zone, and I have a decent in view, but I can't see what the TV sees.
Our TV.
Well, you know what? That sounds to me like a Raiders head coach.
Yes. I mean, he was yelling at Olsen, and Olsen looked like a little chastised child. But let's get back to Olsen's. What is the major malfunction with Olsen? Lack of creativity. We were just talking about Mariota in perfect opportunity for a wildcat. I mean, what defense
thought the same exact thing.
What defense could make the kind of personnel adjustments to deal with both a wildcat and a Derek Carr pocket quarterback scenario? I'm telling you, we would have a defense on their heels if only Olsen knew how to design a wildcat. And let me tell you, I want DeSean Jackson in my wildcat because I can sneak him out in the flat and Mariota can throw to him. But it takes play design and brains to come up with that. I mean, there's so many things you can do with Mariota out of that formation, but we don't have the offensive coordinator.
He's just predictable. There's no creativity, like you said. He's predictable. Run, pass, run, 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 pass, run, 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 pass, run, run. Sometimes it's run, run, pass, run, but not often. I mean, I understand those are really the two main components of this whole football thing, but you don't have to do it in the same order every time. You could do something different that, I'm looking at the defense and I don't know the top of my head the name of plays and this, that, and the other thing, but I'm like, okay, he's gonna blitz and this guy's gonna run over your tackle like he did the last 10 times, and you're faking a handoff because I can already see you doing it right now. It's not even snap the ball. We know you're gonna do it. It's when people are watching the game and know what's gonna happen before it happens, then it's time for you to look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? But I don't think Olsen knows. I don't think he gets it.
And we got to segue right into that O-line. I mean, just going down.
Hold on. I want to put my Flores 2 cents in.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
All right. I see people complaining. Whatever. Have your opinions. That's fine. But there's a couple of things about now. There's some stupid things that I'm going to say because they're fun and they're interesting and they're just little.
I want to hear.
There's there's some very legit things. All right. When was the last time we had a Flores? We won 2 Super Bowls, didn't we?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's right. Testifying. I can testify.
As Raider Nation, we all know the problems that people have with Reggie McKenzie. All right. That's 2. Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Flores, there was not that I've heard so far any good reason that they fired this man, other than the rumors that there are front office problems. Okay. He brought the Miami Dolphins back to relevance and made them competitive in the AFC East. And anyone who could do that after having been dominated by the damn Patriots for 20 years, doing a pretty decent job. He
Correct.
lured some big name players away from other teams, and he's been able to do something with them. Their defense was very good. Tua Tagovailoa looked like a damn bust for that first year. Okay. And then he picked up a really serviceable quarterback who actually took some games, who actually almost beat us. Didn't he almost beat us?
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, very close.
You know
they
what?
did beat us. And
He's made that team something worthy, and he doesn't have, as far as I'm concerned, he does not have the quarterback that we have. He does not have the defensive line that we have. And right now, if we put somebody like him on our team, then we have the ability to look forward in the future. Jim Harbaugh has been playing in coaching college for how many years now? It's been 7 or 8 years now. I can't remember.
Yeah,
about five, right? No, I don't
8
think
years,
it's that long.
5, whatever. It's been
At
more
least-
than
at
half a
least 5.
decade. And
Yeah.
college is a completely different game. We see this, we know this when we watch people coming out of the draft and getting on an NFL team. They don't have the ability to translate sometimes. Jim Harbaugh has been in football forever, but it is time to look at a man who has been in football and been head coach of a team that's been improving steadily every year and has no job right now.
Yeah. And
there's my 2 cents.
Well, I already said about the continuity thing I'm worried about. Flores is fine to me. Let me just take a swipe at Stephen Ross, the only owner, by the way, that voted against the move to Vegas, I must say, down in Miami, since he bought that team in 2008.
I'm doing something that's bad for the screen, but I'm covering it up with my other hand. Okay,
I know.
for Roku TV. Hey,
Since 2008, when he bought 50% of that team, they have had 4 head coaches, 2 interim head coaches, and only 1 playoff appearance, and that's 12 years. 4 head coaches in 12 years? Why, that's the Raiders. I mean, this guy is not just like the Fords in daggone Detroit, Kahn down in Jacksonville, Snyder in Washington, them dummies, the McCaffreys up in Chicago. When you have
Don't forget the Maras.
Well, Mara until recently has done okay. It's Mara Jr. now. But those franchises have stayed mired in the bottom of the NFL because they have owners who do not understand the game. You cannot, if you can't select the guy and then see a guy who's winning and keep him there. Caldwell couldn't stay with the Lions with 2 9-7 seasons. Lovie Smith, who brought them to their only Super Bowl appearance since '85 and 2006. Then he gets fired with a 10-6 record. See, these are the things that people look at when they want to bring up race. Now, I'm just saying but I noticed the franchises that are making those mistakes are the ones at the bottom of the league. They can't win anything. And they're going to stay just like that, just like Miami. Haven't really done nothing since Shula. Let's just think about it. I mean, what have they done since Don Shula left? I can't think of anything. See, look at you trying to, Captain. Can you help
They've
us
had
out
nice
here?
weather.
Yes,
I can honestly
They
say
have had nice weather.
No, they done something else.
What have they done?
They've celebrated each year that the last team loses so that they can have a celebration say that they are still the 17-0 team. That's all they've done.
1972 was that?
72. And why did
50 years? Yes. It was their 50-year anniversary this year.
Right. And why is that? Because they didn't play the Raiders in 72 because of the immaculate DFing exception.
Exactly.
Okay. Or it would have been different and they wouldn't be having that celebration every year. Thank you. There's my little shot at the Dolphins.
Well, those are the things that, and so now you've got Flores out there, and there's a million teams that want to snatch it up. Carolina fans, I send you my condolences, but I thought Matt Rule deserved another chance.
I think so too. Yeah.
Seeing that they mistaked Sam Darnold for a real NFL quarterback, so they really absolutely deserve another chance. I mean, Joe Judge. I mean, he's got a quarterback that can't stay healthy. And he was sabotaged by Jason Garrett till they finally got smart and got rid of him. So he's, Giant fans, you're just going to have to calm down, be patient. These things are coming. But for us Raiders, we couldn't be happier. Our long, long wish for a team that could tough it out and has the heart for the playoffs, it has arrived. And I don't want to change that chemistry.
And it's nice this year because in 2016, we made the playoffs and everyone was really stoked about it. But as Raider Nation approached the playoffs, we had a sense of dread because Carr
we were in the playoffs. It's broken now.
Yeah. So it was like, we made the playoffs. That's great. We're so excited, but man, we're screwed. And this year it is different.
He's
this year
play. He's gonna get his first start.
Well,
there are some injuries.
On that note, guys, I have to go. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I have to go be a mommy.
Bye, Angria.
Bye.
But you know what? Hello. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully it will be Raider Nation week 3 of the playoffs.
Yes, it will be.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And speaking of that, how many people, bye-bye, Angria, how many people are like pulling out that 1980 wild card team, right? And starting to make comparison. There's just one problem with that analysis. There were 10 HOFers on that team. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just including the head coach. So I kind of will listen to you and entertain you for a little while. But the fact of the matter is that team was not this team. Oh, Rich wants to come on, Heidi. What do you think? He wants to ask. And what we need to question him about Fangio, even though we know his pedigree is nothing but the best.
I suppose he could.
Yeah, but all I'm going to do, though, is start ragging on him about the fact that they done been through nine quarterbacks since Manning left. I'm probably not going to be very good at it, But I do want to say that, we really have a team here that I don't know how to say it. I don't know what Bisaccia did. He did something with their heads.
Yeah.
It was inside their heads because they're not doing a whole bunch of dumb penalties. And let me add a kudo to our young Mr. Leatherwood, who was very quiet. After they moved him to guard, he has first penalty. He had his first penalty in 8 games on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing well. Been playing real well.
Well, now, see, that's where I want to get it. I beg to differ on that. But he's a rookie. He gets a pass. No. I beg to differ as well. He is a rookie from Alabama. He doesn't get a pass. He hasn't been committing penalties of late, which is well in the fact that he's not committing the stupid penalties that he was at the beginning of the year. He's cleaned that up. He still needs to work on upper body physique and technique. So, and again, as a rookie, the fact that you are getting rid of the stupid mistakes, I'm going to say that is definitely an upgrade. And, the fact that he has been playing better, even though he's getting whooped a bit, but not as much and not as often. More than a bit. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the 2 guards and that center. So, I mean, these people have got cheerleaders, but I got to say, I swear to God, if I see either Simpson or James on their butt after the snap of the ball one more time, I think I cannot stand that the middle of our O-line is getting blown up on nearly every pass play. People want to complain. People want to complain about Derek Carr overthrowing, Derek Carr underthrowing, Derek Carr this, that. He needs to learn how to roll that pocket. But the fact of the matter is, he gets 3 seconds to throw. That's it. Before they are on him, because the middle of our O-line gets blown up on every pass play. You can go right ahead, start talking, but you know what I'm gonna say.
No. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise to say that Richie Riche is ready to come on, and I haven't been able to do it yet. Okay, so when you ladies are ready, Lady Wenches are ready.
We can talk about the O-line afterwards. Okay.
Right. And again, I would never, ever want to butt in on y'all talking. But occasionally I do have to interject to get the flow going, because you said you wanted to hear from Richie Riche. And we are going to hear from Richie Riche. Richie, you trimmed your beard. I got to say that as well.
Hey, you're looking good.
Hey, Hollywood. Hey, how you doing, Richie? We glad to. We're first thing off the bat. Did you think the firing was fair?
No.
Okay. Tell me why.
I just want to go back to your previous comment there. It's not just your interior defensive line. It's only one side of your interior defensive line that's got the problem. And you also have an issue on the right tackle side of the ball. So you have
we know about that. Yeah.
That's traditional. I mean, we've been having that for like 20 years. Go ahead.
Let's just say, as a Broncos fan, I feel your pain, because we've had the same issue at right tackle. So we have some synergies there.
You've even picked up our leftovers once or twice.
Yeah, we did. And let's just say I wasn't a fan.
We weren't either. That's why we got rid of him.
I know, and then
we were glad.
And then Elway.
Bill from us, Bill Musgrave.
I have a funny feeling Elway might have signed Menelik Watson when he was on his little Segway drunken bender there in Denver. But anyway, so we'll get over that at some point.
We want to hear about Fangio.
So I was a huge fan of Vic Fangio. I'm one of the rare Denver Broncos fans that was just a huge fan of his here in Denver. I think that when you look at the defensive side of the ball here in Denver, we were only kept in games as a result of Fangio's defense. We went from week 7 to week 15, and then week 16 is when we started to slip a little bit. And that was only because we had something like 8 or 9 guys on the defensive side of the ball that were on the COVID list for that game.
Well, more importantly, Drew Lock became your starter. Now let's just call it like
no, actually that's not even it. Drew Lock was actually a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater was at the end. You can shake your head all you want, but it's just a fact.
He was supposed to save the franchise. That's a story that was like 2 years older. But please tell me more about.
So when you look at Fangio in terms of what he did, he plays the quarters defense with the safeties. I'm also a firm believer that Fangio did not get the players that he requested when he was here in Denver. I believe the Raiders have more of the players that fit Fangio's defense in the Las Vegas. You have Max Crosby, who I'm a huge fan of. I think he is one heck of a defensive player. I believe you're on Roku. I just saw the splash screen there, so I'll refrain from any more colorful language in terms of what I believe in Max Crosby. But he is just an incredible defensive player and deserves an immense amount of credit.
Although it needs to take the outside more than the inside.
I actually don't know as a Denver Broncos player, I just kind of looked at him and said, that's an Aaron Donald-esque style interior defensive player where teams just can't stop him. At some point or another, he is getting to the quarterback from the interior side of the ball. It's just a fact. It's going to happen. Just plan on it and then work around it. So,
okay. Now, Richie,
we want to hear about what you. I'm sorry, Captain. What were you going to say?
No, I'm going to say because
we want to hear what kind of coach Fangio was in terms of let's start with the topic of making adjustments.
That's what we're looking for.
In quarter as well as between quarters, and of course the traditional halftime.
So what Fangio did was he had a bunch of scripted plays at the very beginning of every game where he put out various packages where he was able to assess the opposing team. I think a lot of people overlooked that. And
yes, they do.
And I get the impression that there's a group of people here in this particular show that don't. And I think that's a good thing. Now, when you look at what Fangio was able to do, what he did with our defense was that he put out various personnel packages to see how the offense would respond, what was good, what was bad, et cetera, and then he just literally just turned the dial. It was really a unique piece, and I think that's what you guys are generally referring to in terms of your defense and what you feel you're missing and that kind of stuff. And I can tell you right now that my biggest concern right now is our defensive side of the ball as the Denver Broncos. We let Fangio go. We've been known as the Denver Broncos to have a top defense. Like we've always had a really, really good defensive unit. And Fangio really brought us back into prominence when it came to that. When you go from week 7 to week 16 and keeping your opponents under 17 points, under 20 points, under 20 points per game, you have no right to lose those games. And yet the Denver Broncos did a pretty good job of doing so. I do not believe that a quarterback of Derek Carr's caliber would allow your team to slip the way that our quarterbacks did in both Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. You have too good of a quarterback in Derek Carr to allow that to happen. So I think that's a huge difference for your team and for all those that are Raiders fans that believe that, Derek Carr isn't the answer or isn't the right guy or whatever that means. I actually think Derek Carr is a far superior quarterback to any of the quarterbacks we have on our roster here at the Denver Broncos. And I also think that you've seen in multiple games now that Justin Herbert's still learning. He's clearly an exceptionally talented quarterback.
He sees the field. Go ahead.
He sees the field, but Derek Carr is a much more polished quarterback, and I think that's what can set the Raiders apart from other people within the division.
I got one more question. Can I ask, please, one more question about Fangio? If Fangio, is he a kind of a guy who will take a average player and make him good, and a good player and make him great?
So Peggy, I don't know how much you know about the Denver Broncos this year. If you want to just answer that, I can give you some direct answers. Do you know what our injury history has been this year?
No, I haven't been really keeping watching the Broncos.
So we're on our 6th interior linebacker of this season. I would ask you a single team that is able to even compete to potentially be in the playoffs in that position. No. Vic Fangio brought a street free agent from with a 6th-round draft pick in Kenny Young and turned him into a inside linebacker that looked like he was a Pro Bowl caliber inside linebacker in Fangio's defense. I also would ask you to look at a guy like Josie Jewell, who is potentially one of the most unathletic inside linebackers that I've seen come out of the draft. He is a sharp. He's very mentally astute. He's very mentally astute.
Smart.
But he's physically just inept, and yet when you compare him to what he looked like this year in the Vic Fangio defense, he looked like he could be a competent inside linebacker in the NFL. And I think if you look at him in any other defense, he would basically be seen as a practice squad candidate, and that's about it. So I actually think that when you look at what Vic Fangio was able to do with average players in his defense, he was able to play to their strength, minimize their weaknesses, and leverage the right guys in the right position to do the right things. And I mean, I don't think people truly understand just how much of a defensive genius Vic Fangio is.
There's no question about it.
I mean,
and that's why Peggy wanted to get the comments from somebody that knows about, because we know about Fangio, but you've been living with him for a couple years. That's why we wanted to know. Hey, Rich, we're gonna move on. We know you're a Fangio fan, so we know that you don't want him on our team. And what we will give you for Fangio.
Here's the deal, Captain. In some respects, I actually think it serves the Denver Broncos right, and I in some respects, I'd almost say bring him in as a Raider. and then I would just want to continuously point and say to all the people that disagreed with me, both on Twitter and on my show and all the comments and all those things, I told you so. Now shut up.
Okay. Well, right. We'll try to make it happen, because we definitely need. Peggy wants to get rid of Bradley. I'm I would like an upgrade from
They're
Bradley.
probably going to teach him. They're probably going to keep him.
So,
You know,
Peggy,
typical Raider
Peggy,
decision.
Can I ask you a question on
vote for mediocrity instead of the best? Go
Okay,
ahead.
one question, Rich, and
I have a question for Peggy. So I've been in the comments, and I'm really wanting to know the answer to this. So I'm a huge proponent of bringing the right players in to fit the right scheme. So, for example, when you look at the scheme fit in terms of Bradley and what you have on the Raiders and what he's wanting to run, how he wants to run his defense, do you not think it might be a fair comment to make that Bradley doesn't have all the right pieces in order to run the scheme that he's wanting to run on the Raiders? And as a subsequent piece to that is, if he's already elevated your defense, do you not think it might be a fair comment for some
elevated to where? I don't understand elevation when you're still in the 20s. That's where we were under Ken Norton Jr. I need a Vic Fangio, a guy that I know can take what I have, whatever talent holes I have, whatever's missing, and he can make me into a top 15 defense. Now, I'm just saying, Gus looks good to us because we had Gunther, okay, who had no idea what he was doing.
Well, I don't disagree
with that. Gus looks great, but those are people that have never seen a great defense play. A great defense scores. Oh, wasn't that a beautiful play, guys? It was beautiful when Chubb reached up, pulled that INT out of the sky, and pick six. Who
practically
knew? That was all Chubb. I mean, what a wonderful athlete. But I need a guy who can just absolutely see that we can't win a championship with a mediocre defense. A defense that gives up 6 of 7 fourth down plays when the game is on the line and you need somebody to make a play.
So I agree with that. But when you look at the Denver Broncos, even in Vic Fangio's defense, Vic Fangio needs sideline to sideline linebackers.
Yeah.
I would argue that the Raiders don't have. They have a variation of that impairment. He's decent, but he's not amazing. Mm-hmm. He's a great tackling machine. He's average in coverage. He's not mediocre. He's average in coverage. You need another speed guy at the inside linebacker position in order to elevate your team. So hopefully you guys can acquire that in the draft this year, and that will really elevate your defense. The challenge that I think you're going to have, though, is ultimately going to be with Fangio, is he can elevate the defensive backs. I'm not really concerned about that. It's the safety position. Fangio's defense relies heavily on the safety position, and he needs guys that are effectively interchangeable at the safety position. We have 2 safeties on the Denver Broncos that didn't necessarily fully fit into the Fangio defense. And ultimately, if you guys bring Fangio in, I really hope that you do what the Denver Broncos didn't, and that is actually listen to him and bring in the right players to fit his scheme. Because we did not do that on the Denver Broncos.
And Rich, we appreciate the comments.
We got to move on to our comments.
Have a good one.
And we got to talk about. Thank you so much for telling people about Fangio.
Thanks for coming in, brother.
Have a good one, guys.
You got it.
And the dude, you are so right. Last year, I spotted that guy, and I said to myself, first of all, this young boy sees the field. Herbert sees the field. Second, he has the skill set, the arm to deliver the ball, whether it's 6 yards or 6. There was no weakness in his short, medium, or long passing game. I mean, third of all, I saw how he diagnosed and read defenses within seconds. And I'm like, a rookie is not supposed to be able to do that. I don't know what you saw when you saw Herbert the first time last year, but for him to dissect our defense like that, it was like Gunther was standing on the sidelines again. I swear to God, for me, I don't think Gunther win it. There's been several times this year where I thought Gunther was still walking the sidelines, and that shouldn't be. We should see a visible change in their performance. And sometimes we just don't. Sometimes they do brilliant. And sometimes, Heidi?
Well, I'm just wanting to touch on what did I think when I first saw Herbert on the
Yes.
field last year.
Yes.
And what I saw was a defensive nightmare because
Yes.
the kid's good.
I mean,
He's good. He's going to be a thorn in our side for many years.
Many
You know?
years, just like Mahomes. And we have to face it. I think that, except for our fourth cousins, the Denver Broncos, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders, and the I want to say San Diego Chargers have three of the top quarterbacks in the league. And
It's
that
a tough
means
division.
it's going to be real tough. Real tough. And of course, if San Diego had cooperated and let the clock run out, three of us would have been in the playoffs instead of only two. Now, I wanted to, Captain Jack, we were talking about that O-line, and you were telling me, we were talking about Leatherwood, and I just want to remind everybody what Colton Miller looked like his first year, 2018. We have to be patient with our young ones.
Yeah, well,
okay?
the only difference is that Colton Miller actually was playing through some injuries, and he was playing through a bunch of injuries, and we found that out at the end of the year, and he still played average or a little above average. And then
No, I don't think so. And the PFF didn't think so either.
Well, you know what?
He was the bottom three at the left tackle position. Only in 2018.
Okay.
2019, he came out there and it was like a Pro Bowl vet was playing.
That being said, in 2018, when Colton Miller was out of the game with those injuries, he did not miss a lot of snaps, but the games that he was out of or had reduced playing time, the offense struggled even more. The offense struggled that year, but really struggled with him out.
We were losing with or without him. Okay, we were losing a lot of games. And that's just the 2018 was a complete rebuild year. I think it was. So nobody who knows football expected much. But now we talk about that O-line, and I want to once again address the criticism about Carr getting sacked, getting strip sacked, Carr fumbling, Carr underthrowing, Carr overthrowing, this, that. Well, you name a quarterback in the NFL who only has 3 seconds to read the field, read the defense, and decide what to do, and tell me when he throws accurately.
Okay, I'm gonna interject a little bit on that because I agree with the 3 seconds, and he has at least 3 seconds. But one thing that I was looking at, and also Hollywood with me when we were in Indianapolis and we're watching it as well. It was 3 seconds, it was 4 seconds, it was 5 seconds, and Carr is still
in the pocket.
Right, but the thing is that at 4 seconds, you should be getting busted out of the pocket and rolling, and he stays in the pocket and he gets collapsed. So a bit of it is the offensive line.
You are right,
but a little bit is the fact is if you got the 3, if you're on 3.5 going to 4, your ass better be moving. And he comes in. No, don't come in unless you see an opening. Yeah, then come in and go. But get your ass moving to the right, to the left, whatever is available. And Derek, a lot of times, wasn't doing that.
We don't have a quarterback with that skill set. Let me repeat. We have the Statue of Liberty. Now, Tom Brady is the Statue of Liberty, too. And so is Aaron Rodgers. We have the Statue of Liberty. Now, if you want this dog to learn new tricks, first you have to have an offensive coordinator and a quarterback.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to design roles for him, if you're going to install the kind of things you're talking about, because roll in the pocket, even after 3 seconds, I think it should be rolled immediately. But even then, you're talking about 2 different play designs. Rolling it after 3 seconds, rolling it immediately. Rolling in general, lateral movement. We got the Statue of Liberty. You're now asking him. First, you were mad at him because he wasn't running all that open field of him. He wasn't running. Okay. He ain't Kyler Murray. He ain't ever going to be Jalen Hurts.
Wait a second now.
But I'm talking about the instinct. You see, to run, to see empty field in front of you, you have to have the mind of a runner. You in some sense you do, because you have to know when, you have to have vision. You have to see, if I take off with this ball, how quickly are they going to converge on me? You know, how far can I get before, you know, I get sandwiched and tackled? That's the mind thinking of a runner. You want him to think the way he has never been trained to think. He's a statue. He's a pocket quarterback.
He is a pocket quarterback.
You give him enough time in that pocket, like Tom Brady, like Aaron Rodgers, he will tear you apart.
Now, may I interject, please?
No, you may not, because
Mommy and Daddy, please stop fighting.
You have 3 other shows to mirror your car thinking, and I wanted to introduce another way to think about it.
Okay.
He is not what you're asking for. He has to learn. And had he had continuity in his coordinators, maybe he would have learned it by now.
Now, that I'll give you. That I will give you.
Maybe he would have already learned how to roll the pocket and how to run when it's time to run. But he didn't have that. He didn't have the benefit of even a coordinator that had the skill set to train him like that. I mean, most offensive coordinators in this league, you know, they're trained for the pocket quarterbacks. They're not trained for the Jalen Hurts of the world. You know this. And, well, yeah. Well, Carson became a statue after that horrible knee injury, remember? In the Pittsburgh playoff game?
But
that's when Carson turned into a statue.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like, because you gave me the greatest segue as well. You're talking about an injury. Derek Carr, prior to his injury, would roll out and run a lot more than he did. Derek Carr, prior to John Gruden being here, would roll out and run a lot more. So you're talking about that he hasn't learned. No, because
he doesn't have the instincts. I'm saying he doesn't have the instincts.
I disagree. His very first year, the very first game that I saw in Oakland was against the Texans, and Derek Carr took off for like a 26-yard gain that was so wonderful it even freaked out the cameraman, and right in front of me, and he went to the right side, right in front of me, like, yeah, you go, boy. And I haven't seen that but once, and I was against the Cowboys, so he can do it. He can do it. But since the injury, he's become the shell. He's become what Joey Bosa, it's Joey or Nick, whichever Bosa is on the Chargers.
And I agree with Bosa in that sense. But as my quip back to Bosa was, Heidi, I know you're going to agree with that. There's 2 parts of a defensive lineman's game. You gave us 74 yards rushing. A D lineman got stopped to run too. Okay, so you concentrate on not being a one-trick pony. That's all I have to say, Bosa. But his criticism, I agree. Now, after we all agree on the criticism of Carr, that he doesn't run when he's supposed to for whatever reason, he doesn't move that pocket, where are we now? I mean, you said that to say what?
No, I'm just saying that he had it before.
Pointing that out to say what?
I'm saying this now. He had it before. He got injured.
Say what? And that means, now that we agree with you, what are the conclusions? What is the conclusion?
He needs to do it more often when that bell goes.
He's getting older, not younger.
Well,
Heidi, help me out here, because we don't want to. Captain Jack gets to make these points on his other shows, and he knew this was coming from me.
And I forgot to wear my car jersey for you, but I was wrong. I did wear my Raider thing today.
What I'm saying to you, all these criticisms of Carr's game. Now what?
That's what we got.
You damn tootin' it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's the best of what we got. And until we find something else, and that's the
If
thing.
we even look for something else.
That's true. Until
There's
we
still
find
the
something
debate
else,
if we
I'll
need
skip it.
something else.
Yeah.
There's still a debate
Heidi,
on that.
say it again for the people in the cheap seats.
There's still a debate on if we need someone like that.
Okay.
It's not for certain that Carr needs to go. I mean, we're in the playoffs for once.
I got you.
And name one of those quarterbacks y'all are looking for, a Jalen Hurts. I'll give you Russ Wilson before he starts.
No. I don't want Russell Wilson.
Well, but no. I'm talking about the kind of quarterback, the RPO sticks of the runner that has the athletic ability, because Carr don't have it, of moving the pocket when he needs to, of moving in. That guy. When's the last Super Bowl they won?
It's been a while. We're losing you, Peggy. You're breaking
I'm a
up.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, Peggy, you're locking up, hon, a little bit. Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
My hands are up here. I did not do anything. I did not do anything.
I
did not do anything to
anybody
Peggy.
to ask, and to our audience.
I did not do anything to Peggy. I swear.
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time an RPO quarterback was a Super Bowl champion? Let me ask another question right behind it. When's the last time that running quarterback name a few Pro Bowlers, or lasted more than 10 years in the league, or is a guy who has won more games than he lost? I'll wait. I'm waiting. Name them. The pocket quarterback's rule.
Yeah, Mariota is a mobile quarterback, but he can't stay on the field. He's constantly injured. And Lamar Jackson, yes, he is a mobile quarterback, and he has been able to stay on the field more, but his ball security is really poor.
And Patrick Mahomes is a good answer, but here's the problem. With Patrick Mahomes, since that knee injury last year, he don't run much either. All RPO running quarterbacks become pocket quarterbacks.
If they survive.
If they survive after their first injury or when they pass 28 years old. Sooner or later, even the great Randall Cunningham, the prototype of the RPO, by the time he got to Minnesota, what was he? A pocket quarterback. Had his best career year ever in 98, right? With Denny Green up there with Minnesota. Mm-hmm. I mean, threw for 5,000 yards as a pocket quarterback. So these people with this dream, they had a dream that one day Carr would take off and run when he needed to instead of taking a sack, or would move the pocket instead of taking a sack. It ain't happening. Tom Brady, if you look at the TB.
Stop swearing on my show. I love you, Peggy.
No, TB. I just got to call him like I see it. You look at TB, some awful stuff happens to him when he's under pressure.
Yeah, that's why I said you piss him
off
by coming at him. That's right.
And the same nasty stuff is happening to Derek right now. But despite that, Heidi, he's in the playoffs. Yeah. Despite the bad game where every single pass play, that offensive line was being pushed into him. Did you see them physically? John Simpson and Andre James being physically pushed into Carr? Did you see it?
Yeah, Simpson especially. Simpson, I don't want to say needs to go, but him and Brandon Parker need to sit next to each other on the end of the bench, for, let's call them the 10th and 11th offensive linemen. Okay. James, I still have some hope for, but John Simpson, no. And Leatherwood, I have hope for him as a guard. He has improved a great deal over the season, and I think he'll continue to improve. But like Richie Riche said, if you draft someone to be offensive tackle in the first round, they better darn well play there. And for some reason, the Raiders decided that they wanted to convert a left tackle who has also played guard into a right tackle on the NFL level, the highest level of sports possible for a football player, and they wonder why it didn't work.
Well, we did try to do it to Donald Penn, didn't we?
Yeah,
we tried to make
and
a
didn't
left
work with him
tackle
either.
a right tackle. We have been trying to fill that right tackle position for, well, Captain, how many years? I mean, somebody was giving me a list. They even brought up Austin Howard, and I had forgotten all about him. I mean, we have been trying forever to plug that right tackle situation.
Yeah.
But that's not where the problems with Derek Carr are coming. They're coming straight up the middle at him.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a quarterback in the NFL.
Where Incognito was supposed to be.
Right. And so the biggest thing that we need right now, in my estimation, is obviously we need to see if Denzel Good's going to come back and fulfill the right tackle role, and hopefully he will. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he will, because Denzel Good is an awesome guard and tackle. My problem was that they had Jermaine Illuminor on the roster, and there's got to be he must have pissed in the coach's Wheaties, because he's got to be better than Parker at right tackle, because he has experience as a right tackle, much better than Parker. But I guess I don't know. Maybe he's got bad photos of somebody and they're using it against him. But I would have put Illuminor at right tackle. I would have gotten rid of Parker a long time ago. We do need to find two guards, or if we have the guard with Leatherwood, great. We've solved that problem. We need another guard, because Simpson ain't the answer. Because if he's the answer, I don't want to even know what the question was.
And Captain,
the question is, who should not be left guard for the Raiders?
Yes. And this double jeopardy, right? Where the scores have doubled.
I
really think that that's what is causing, as in general rules, I think that the offensive line is the cause of some of those red zone problems. The other problem is play calling. If we just don't have enough faith in our line to just grind it out, first and goal at the 1, put it in there. We don't even want to go behind that line. Why? Because they're always going backwards instead of forward. Captain, how many times did you see at least one O-lineman on the ground? Nearly.
They were looking for their contact lenses.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when your butt gets blown out so bad that you fall down, that's not even pro level stuff going on there. I don't know what that is. I mean, and let's face it, we're Raider fans. We're not used to seeing bad O-lines. I mean,
and I will say this. Say this. The world is going to stop spinning when I say this. But thank God for Brandon Parker being able to recover fumbles.
Yes. You took my glory. I said the one thing that he did.
Yeah.
The one Brandon. You had one job, and he didn't do your real one job, but your other one job to do was to fall on a fumble. And I there you go. He did the one job because he screwed up in his other jobs.
Yeah.
But he did his one job.
But see, if we're going to talk about facing those Cincinnati Bengals, that's another team with a strong D-line, front four. Yep. And the last game we played against, our O-line just got blown up. Even at Colton Miller's position, we were just blown up. And this is a different team, though. As I was telling my little Tiger fans, my little Bengal fans, this is a different team, but I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I swear I'm at a loss of words, Captain. I know you got some words. Heidi's got some words to describe.
Yeah,
They play well at certain times. They do.
Well,
I was just thinking of this meme that I saw right before the show. It's of Derek Carr superimposed on Joe Exotic next to a tiger.
Oh, I gotta see that.
That is gonna be hysterical.
I gotta see that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find it again. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Cal Grizzly, I can tell what you talk. When I say that the O-line, I don't want to completely malign the O-line because something has happened in the last 4 weeks, and that is we can run the football. We didn't run it against the Colts, but we definitely ran the ball. I mean, Josh Jacobs had 132 yards Sunday. We needed that.
We ran it enough against the Colts.
Yeah,
we ran it enough against the Colts.
It was 85 total yards.
Right.
For the whole
and
team.
the other thing is that, and I said it for the last several weeks, stop the run and run the ball and you win. We stopped the run against Denver and we ran the ball, we won. We stopped enough of Taylor against Indy, enough of Taylor, nothing really big, and we ran it enough to win. Okay. So stop and run. Stop and run.
Some luck happened to us though in that Colt game. Rhodes went down early and did not return. I mean, that's their best corner. For that, he was breaking up everything. But that 108 yards that Jonathan Taylor, nobody else got any rushing yards for them. That was key.
And in the victories, the Colts had Taylor was averaging 139 rushing yards. Exactly. So the Raiders were able to keep them a little bit lower.
Right. Now was the first game I think that Taylor went over 100 that the Colts lost. So like I said, we limited his effectiveness. Okay.
Right.
And that's what we did.
Right. And I saw, that's why I'm saying I cannot describe what has happened to this little team. Our little team, because the O-line may be horrible pass blockers, but they've been run blocking well. And we had a total of 174 rushing yards against I'm going to call them San Diego.
That's
the Sparklers. The Garglers.
Thank you. I like
Sparklers. I like Sparklers.
Sparklers, but Garglers just sums it up.
Yeah, and because Garglers, because they are chokers.
They are. If that team for the last 60 years hasn't found a way to lose, I don't know what. They just have terrible luck. I send them rabbit's feet all the time, but it don't help. I do voodoo. I mean, I recommended couple witch doctors for them. They just have terrible luck, like with the timeout when he didn't need to do anything. All he needed to let the clock run down. But they do stuff like that.
I got a question as well, and I appreciate Curtis for answering this. I know what I'm gonna say to this, but I want to hear from you ladies as well. It's true. If all of the wild cards win, and if all of the wild cards win, and I would be, what do you call it on Vegas if you do that, a parlay? First off, that would be a parlay. I'm not going to be in Vegas this weekend, but I'd put a $5 on a parlay for that just for giggles. But if the Raiders win, if the Steelers win, and if the Patriots win, the Raiders would host the playoff game the following week. Now, having said that, ladies, your thoughts of how much ganja do you have to smoke to believe that that's going to happen? Because I think 2/3 of that, is going to happen. I really do. I think 2/3 of that is going to happen. But that other 1/3 is not going to happen. So your thoughts? I've already said my piece. What do you ladies think?
Heidi?
Well, I could see the Patriots pulling it off. They are playing the Bills.
That's my two.
In Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be easy, but I could see the Patriots doing that. Now the Steelers are having to play in Kansas City. So I don't think they can pull that off, especially the way that the Steelers have been playing. I mean, they barely squeaked by the Ravens. Barely. And the Ravens were just not that good this year. And I just don't see them going into Arrowhead and being able to beat them. But yeah, we are the 5th seed, so conceivably we could be hosting a playoff game. It's possible.
Matthew emphatically agrees with you, Heidi.
And me.
Steelers are not beating Kansas City, but more importantly, because of one reason, I looked at that Steeler offense, and I had to tell a few of my Steeler friends, Pittsburgh is the home of the lonely end zone. They are 32nd in touchdowns scored this year. And I don't know what's happening to them, but maybe Ben stayed a year too long. I don't know.
Ben stayed
and the O-line. And the O-line.
Ben's been pondering retirement for 5 years. He stayed 5 years too long.
I know. But I think you guys are right. I'm going with the recommendations. I think we can beat Cincinnati, but we have to have one of those magic games again. No mistakes.
Okay.
But the Raiders have been playing better on the road this year again.
Right. And the other thing is that if you remember right, and I know you ladies do because you that's why you're here, because you're knowledgeable.
Chiefs are gonna lose.
the fact is that when the Raiders played the Bengals in Las Vegas, it was close. I think at least 1/3 of the way through the fourth. No. Through even in the third quarter, it was like maybe a couple minutes into the
wheels
fourth
didn't
quarter.
come off until the fourth quarter. It's true.
Yeah.
Right. So that score was not indicative of what that game was.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So, and the other thing, and here, thank you, Curtis, because Curtis is giving me some wrong one. Curtis is giving me some great segues. Okay. It was close for the Raiders against Cincinnati in the last game.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the temperature in Cincinnati, from what I understand, is going to be about the high 20s with snow flurries for the game. Okay. Which means
it's a warming trend.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, for Heidi,
coming over our part of the country.
Yeah.
That's shorts weather.
That's right. We're sitting up here in 20-some degrees as we speak.
Well, you guys are. I'm in like 50s, high 50s, low 60s right now.
Your mouth. Just hush.
Which is comfortable. That's why I live here.
It is bragging. Florida
and that's another reason why I will not be in Cincinnati this weekend because people say you're gonna be in Cincinnati this weekend, and I say a word. I say a word that I can't say because let me see.
Roku.
Because I'm on Roku TV and I'm watching my language. So I gotta say, no, I'm not going to Cincinnati. I am looking for a Raiders victory. So hopefully I can go to the next game. Okay.
Right.
And getting back to point, a very snowy, blustery day. Not like the Bengals Garglers playoff game years and years ago, where it was like frozen tundra.
-58.
Right. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's going to be a matter of the running game. And I think that we have a running attack that's a little bit built more for us, where Mixon is more of a slasher.
Yes, he is. I was getting
Mixon is a slashing back, and I think that's going to curtail him, where we're more of a grunt and groan, fire out and get some yardage guys. Okay, and if Barber plays to spell him, that will be good for our running game. Also, the temperature is going to preclude a lot of the aerial show that Burrow has. Okay, but I think the short to intermediate passes, which is what Carr flourishes at, will be better for us. Which is why, if you look at the temperature wise, I think that plays into our hands. Ladies, agree or?
I do agree. I was hoping our audience could help us out. Didn't Burrow lead the game in the fourth quarter?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
he's a
somebody
little
was saying,
banged up.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a bad knee or bad elbow or
It's the
something.
knee.
Yeah,
And see, that's
the
the
knee.
same that the Bengal fans are telling me that's the same knee that took him out completely last year. The one he had the operation, 2 operations on. I didn't know that. 2 operations on that knee. And that's the same knee. So, you know, all that cold and everything, I don't know what that does, but sure does make me ache. I don't know about anybody else. All my old injuries come back and say, hello, remember me? And I think we'll have to see Burrow's health. But this team has something. And I don't have a word for it yet. I'm going to stay in my Webster's until I find it. But it's that thing that we have, that little magic thing where we keep it close enough, no mistakes, focus, and that's Bisaccia. I think that's him. That is his coaching personality coming through because I've never seen it before. I'm like, what is this? The other thing somebody told me about a special teams coordinator being a head coach. Quick quiz. Who's the last major head coach that was started out as special team coordinator? Come on, Captain.
That one Harbaugh.
Well, yeah, but the next one, it's
what?
Mark.
That won a Super Bowl?
Yes. Well, no, he tried 4 times.
Oh, he tried 4 times? That was Bud Grant.
But well, he wasn't a special teams guy.
Okay.
He was an offensive coordinator, remember?
Okay.
He's not that's Marv Levy.
Yeah.
And
you're talking about my great uncle Marv, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Marv starts out for George Allen.
That's
as
right.
Special teams coordinator.
Well,
remember?
you had me at the 4. That's why I went with Bud Grant. So
And
apologies there.
Something they reminded me about, and Heidi, I know I want you to come in. A special team coordinator has the ability to get guys together. Now, guys on the offense, defense, whatever, guys that don't play much, and they all together. They say that you have to have that skill set to be able to talk to every guy on the team. Does this make sense to you? It made sense to me that a special teams coordinator would be able to do that thing. And somebody just said moxie.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah, like that word.
Well, the other thing is, remember, folks, that Rich Bisaccia was the assistant head coach.
Right.
The assistant head coach. He was elevated because he was assistant head coach. He was the assistant head coach under He Who Shall Not Hooten, because we're calling him Hooten now. He was his assistant head coach in Fake Pirate Land before that. So he's had that pedigree of being able to plug and play with the team. He has that respectability. He just was never given. I shouldn't say he was never given a chance. He was looked at, I believe, twice for a head coaching position and never got that. I believe he was interim once in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, possibly. But again, now and or he was considered. But again, interim here. That's why he got the job. I like him as what he brings to the table. Okay, he can talk to the players. He's fiery. He, in my Welsh accent and paraphrasing what the guy in the replacement, it's fiery, not wiry, but it's fiery.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's some magic going on. Yeah. I don't know what he's saying to him, but
it's just something intangible.
I can't put my finger on it, but I haven't seen it since the last time. I haven't seen it since 2002, and I know this team has their head in the game for the first time. Oh, how do you know how long I've been praying to the football gods for this, Heidi? I mean, I was ready to make sacrifices, lamb and sheep, because above all, this is what they needed: focus and discipline. For you talk talent, the coordinators, they needed focus, and now they have it. That's why I think we were talking. Heidi, you had something to add about Cincinnati, our prospects for Cincinnati. Did you forget about it?
Well, no, I was just it actually wasn't about Cincinnati. It was just that special teams coaches in general are not given looks as head coaches. It is offensive coordinators, it is defensive coordinators. Special teams coaches are kind of like over on the sideline in their own little world. And so that's how I think that Bisaccia was able to bring that intangible and transmit it through the team. And that's what is making it work. He's not chewing out the players and cussing them out constantly, which is what Gruden did.
Well, let me
Now, I'm
tell
not
you.
saying it didn't work. It did work sometimes, but it's like the players enjoy playing. You know, some of that spirit, that fun, is back in their game.
I
That
see that.
maybe
I
for a
see that.
while they weren't able to feel and express, and I think
Mhm.
that makes a difference as well.
Yeah. I think that Heidi's right about that fun thing going on. Guys always play better when they're having a good time. And I'm happy for the players with all this because now they can believe in themselves. Before it was, this is what you guys could be doing. Now it's, this is what you are doing. And Bisaccia made him see that. I mean, Captain, I can't say how that's a hella coaching job. I don't know about you, but I think that's a hella coaching job to be able to make those players a group, a motley crew, couldn't even beat the Chargers, the Bears,
Washington football team,
oh
the
my
Giants.
God. I mean, my head hurts thinking about those bums in the NFC East.
Least NFC least.
I mean, we got
At
the
least we beat the Cowgirls.
and the Eagles. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Actually, you know, I was looking at the power rankings today for the final things, and I was looking. We lost to 30, 27, and 25 on the power rankings, which were the Giants, the Bears, and what used to be formerly known as the Redskins. Okay, the WFTs. Those guys were 23 and down in the power rankings, and we lost. So you can imagine, okay, if we wouldn't have lost to them, we would be 13-4.
Home field advantage. I mean, throughout the
13-4.
playoffs, we'd be right there. But at that time, we had to get our heads together. Our heads just
with
weren't.
everything the team has been through this year. It's really amazing that it is where it's at. I mean, it's been off the field distraction after off the field distraction. And,
Captain opened up some wounds when he talked about we lost. I mean, the Washington football team loss was definitely an ouch. That was an ouch for me because I live in Washington, D.C. So just to see any kind of smile cross their faces, it just galled me. Like, they don't deserve, and they all went out there, flew plane loads of Redskin fans out to Vegas for the game and came back smiling. I think that's something that, once again, they've come a long way, baby. And I keep reminding the Bengal fans, for the Bengal fans too, we come a long way.
But you know what? Even though the team has done good in spite of having all of those circumstances to fight through, the team would not be who it is today if they wouldn't have had those circumstances to fight through.
Say it again, Heidi, again, so to emphasize. Tell them about adversity.
Well, with all that adversity that the team, went through, it's amazing that they got to the point where they are now. But without that adversity, it wouldn't be the team that we have now.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can explain. You'd be surprised the babies that are born from adversity. And one of them is a football team that never quits, that does not give up, that I believe believes in itself. I think, this is just so unheard of in Raiderland. A team that believes they can win in December and January? When was the last time we saw that? I can't remember. I mean, if
it's
you can
been
remember,
a while.
it's been quite a while that believed that they can win, they can believe. And that's why I think
It's been 20 years.
It's been
20 years.
At least 20 years. And Cincinnati is not out of play because, like you pointed out, Captain, that game wasn't out of hand until the fourth quarter.
Right.
And that, I don't think we're that team anymore.
And the other thing is that even, and I was amazed to see it in print when they were talking about our season and the little different things. And I saw it in print, and an uncalled defensive pass interference at the end of the Washington game. I'm like, oh, it's in print. It's in print. Yes. Now I agree. Zay Jones, by the way, if it bounces off your helmet, you need to catch it. That having been said, Zay has made a lot of good catches since then.
Right.
He has made a lot of good catches.
He stepped up.
He has. Yeah. So that, and I love Zay. I've spoken with his dad, met his dad, Robert Jones, the guy who used to play for the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Great pedigree there. Really nice guy. Zay has stepped up, and Zay has earned another contract for the overall accomplishments this year. But just imagine if he would have caught the ball, or if the officials hadn't had super glue in the back of their friggin' pocket for that yellow hanky that should have came out then. Okay.
Well, everybody's going to talk about the game that we just had with those blatant face mask penalties. My God, it nearly ripped Rashard's head off.
We did kind of get a PI though in the end zone.
I know,
a little.
I know. But the football gods owed us that from the 23 penalty game. Okay, we got a lot of credit in the bank. The index card game, they owe us
our penalty karma.
But yeah, yes, the ball was overthrown. But yes, the defensive guy did not give him a chance. He was tackled.
Right. And he wasn't looking. And that's the thing. If you're not looking, they're going to call it. Yeah, the ball was overthrown. And, I don't know whether they showed it on TV. And like I said, now you guys are going to keep me up tonight. So I'm actually going to scroll through the game and watch it. But when Jared Cook was in the fourth quarter, I don't know whether they showed it on TV or not, but he was doing his little boogie dance in front of everybody. And there was a bunch of F-bombs flying out to Jared Cook. And he was doing, it's like, and other things like here, I'm doing it again. I'm blocking it. A lot of that going on from the stands as well.
Jared just mad because we threw him out and we got a better tight end.
Yeah, because he was a cancer. That's why he was gone. He was a cancer.
Correct. And that's one of the things that you have to understand. The other thing about Waller, we haven't even talked about Waller. This was just his first game back.
Since
I saw they're slowly trying to integrate him back in. But imagine, even with him just coming back, the sparklers, the garglers, had to pay attention to him on the field. See, he's a player that commands a kind of respect. Now, if Carr and him get that chemistry back, please get it back against Cincinnati. You don't have much time. You need to get him back in there. He really should have been back actually against the Colts.
Yeah, he should have been.
All this, don't get me started. You will not hear of any star quarterback, any star player on any playoff team being on COVID.
Which reminds me, I got to break off camera for a second. I got something to show y'all, and I didn't bring it. You ladies, and I will be back in a second.
6 minutes.
I know. No, trust me. It'll take me about 2 to get it. 1 second.
No problem. But Heidi, seriously, the NFL was very short-sighted in even formulating their COVID protocols in my mind. Because I'm thinking about, well, that's cool for the regular season, but the fans are not going to take it if Tom Brady is on COVID protocol and he got a playoff game on Sunday. That's not going to work. It's not.
Right.
Imagine the Super Bowl. What, are you seriously thinking about postponing and rescheduling that game? It was a short-sighted plan that was a response to all the pressure everybody has about, their families, their friends, you don't want to give them COVID. But the fact of the matter is football's a business.
And finally, their hand got played, and they had to change it because it had collapsed, had completely collapsed.
I mean, come on. You weren't stopping anybody from getting COVID. You weren't stopping the epidemic to spread. I knew when the playoffs rolled around, wasn't nobody going to be out of COVID. Watch y'all see. They are not going to announce at the beginning of the game, Patrick Mahomes is on COVID protocol. He will not be playing. That's not going to happen.
Right.
They're going to keep that secret, which is what should have been happening in the first place. Medical information should be private anyway. Now, Captain, you came back to say
one thing, actually, and I want to say, hey, Michael, I appreciate that. Try to do that a little earlier. And by the way, Michael Conte does have a show on YouTube, so he is a content creator.
Michael.
I want to make sure you ladies know that. But Michael, try to come on a little bit earlier next time, or say you want to come on. Remember, we ladies get head of the line privileges, so you dudes better be dressed up in a dress and a wig. Okay, dress in a wig, and hopefully we'll do that later. But what I wanted to do is show this as well, and I'm not that I'm bragging on it or ego on it, but this is something that I think bears some marking. Is that right there?
Nice.
And that is the official Raider John Madden pin. Okay,
I gotta have it, Captain.
Which isn't found in stores. It's only given out or worn by the folks that are in the front office and whatnot. So I was fortunate enough to be gifted with one, and which gives me the segue. That's why I was thinking about the segue. The segue is this: on the anniversary of John Madden winning the Super Bowl on Sunday, with the Madden family in the house lighting the torch for him. Okay.
Oh,
and I said, there is no way if God has to be a Raider fan on Sunday. Okay. Because John Madden's family was in the house on the anniversary of Super Bowl 11 with the Raiders winning, that the Raiders could not lose to that team and lose out on a fact to get into the playoffs. That's why I'm saying this one was for John. And again, I don't know what we had the John show last week when it was Chronicles of the Black Hole, and we all remember that as well. And we need to remember this one was for John. And now next week we need to have the Bo Revenge show. The Bo's Revenge playoff game for Bo. Bo's Revenge playoff game for Bo. And like I said, we're winning it for John. We need to get one more for Bo. Okay? And that will hopefully be next week. Ladies, your final thoughts as well. That's the only way I had to do a nice segue.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you so much. And to remind us, and I know everybody's talked about John Madden a lot. John Madden taught me football. Let me repeat that. I learned the game, the X's and O's, what goes on in the trenches, what the coaches are thinking about, strategy, the chess game. John Madden taught me everything. I watched every broadcast that he was in the booth, and let me tell you, he's a wonderful teacher. He just made me understand things that just couldn't be done. So my tribute is going to be to him for a long, long time this year. You are much missed.
Heidi?
Well, I just wanted to do a shout out to T3 Raider Fax's his own podcast, Raider Roots podcast.
Okay.
If you are wanting to learn anything about John Madden, look at episode number 23, Super Bowl champions.
Okay.
Episode 22, Triumph and Controversy. Those are the stories of the years that John Madden was the coach for the Raiders. And they're short episodes, they're around 20 minutes apiece, but you get so much knowledge from him, what he tells you in those stories. If you really want to get an idea of what John Madden was like as a coach, check that out. Raider Roots podcast. Yeah.
Great.
And again, that's why I did it when I did for the segues. Make sure that you are following the ladies. Peggy Holmes lays out the knowledge on Facebook, and she lays it out here on this show, and that's why we're glad to have her. Obviously, Kevlar prom dress. Heidi is on her podcast. Heidi, please, one more time for you as well, hon.
You can join me on the Only Nation podcast. We're available on podcast apps everywhere, or you can go to our website, onlynationpod.com. We'll have a new episode dropping in the morning, so check it out, and it will be about the Raiders making the playoffs.
There you go.
All right.
You can't beat that with a stick, and we're actually on the right time. So again, you are watching on what? Roku TV. So be sure to join after this show. It's the Sneaky G Man show. Sneaky G, a giant fan living in Dallas. God love him.
Poor guy.
Yeah. A giant fan living in Dallas. Make sure you are watching on Roku TV. Please, if you can, if you haven't installed Roku TV, go find Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku TV. Northeast Streaming Sports. Watch on Roku TV. I appreciate everybody watching me. And again, all the for the podcast for Heidi and for Peggy. And obviously, Angria has her stuff as well. So make sure you check out all the ladies. The ladies are here because these wenches have known and forgot more than y'all know on purpose.
Thank you, Captain, so much for letting us come on. It is always fun. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
You got it. All right.
I'll see you guys later.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday for my show where I can actually get a word in edgewise, too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, folks.